Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another series review straight from Paramount Plus Knuckles. This is a spin off series straight from, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which have been critical successes at the box office. So now we have Idris Elba back as Knuckles in his own endeavor. And we're going to go and kind of give you guys a non spoiler review, be very brief about it because it's available right now for you to go and check out. But I have my co-host here, Mike. What's up, Mike?
What's going on? Go on, Nuck if you buck.
Did they actually play that song? I feel like they did.
No, they played in the trailer, not really in the show. Could have been, they had some like rock songs or whatever, But I thought Nuck if you buck would have been better.
I think it would have been a really good one for the finale.
Thank you, Paramount, for sending this to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, so you guys can be able to see it.
Yes. Here also the back. You can see my back. Yeah. Knuckles on Paramount Plus. And I think it's the saying, the tagline, he just hits different. Yes. But yes.
Yeah. So the basis of this, if you remember from the series, I'm sorry, not from the series, from the movie, at the end of it, of course, he ended up with the family, and him, Tails, and Sonic were cool. But in the beginnings of this, Knuckles is having a hard time just sitting idle. Like, he's used to being a warrior, he's used to having things to fight. But now that he has the emerald and everything is good, he doesn't know what to do with himself. So instead, he's tried to recruit the dog. He's tried to go and make his own throne. He's tried to find small little battles, whether it's with the mailman or whether it's the construction people outside, to go and wage war with. And eventually, the mom of the house says to Sonic, like, look, I need you to kind of tell him what he needs to do. And so at a certain point, Knuckles gets a vision / an inclination of somebody he needs to go and meet with. And that is Wade. Wade is the person that he is supposedly destined to turn into a warrior. And yes, they look like road warriors right here. I did not watch the trailer for this. I went into this very blind. I just was very hoping to get some cool Knuckles moments, to see Idris kind of like do it up as Knuckles only know how. I mean, I've always been really apprehensive of doing a lot of the human related stuff. I actually preferred doing a lot of the stuff like other worlds, and we haven't. I knew that's what at a certain point in the beginning of this like show, I was like, this is not what we're gonna get. So for you, Mike, what was your what was your perception of what this was gonna be versus kind of once you started it, what was looking like for you?
Well, I was expecting to be an action-packed story. Trying to see another side of Knuckles that we kind of really tapped in part of Sonic 2. But now also how his past can be relatable to someone who's also trying to find their way with, obviously human character Wade, which we've seen previously in Sonic films. The trailers I thought were very engaging. I thought, okay, this can be fun and everything. And as you can see, like literally with this picture, it's basically trying to replay off of the chemistry from James Marsden and Sonic, from the first film, and try to put this with two different characters on different spectrums where, James Marsden's more, serious and more calm and stuff, and Wade is more less control and everything, trying to figure his way, clumsy and stuff, while Sonic is all go with the flow and everything and free and everything. Knuckles is just more hard and serious and everything. So it's kind of just changing those dynamics with those characters, but giving the same premise and literally almost bait for bait for the first Sonic film. They just serialized it in 6 or almost 8 or 9 episodes. Yes. But yeah, I was expecting that, and unfortunately, I feel well, actually, no, positively, I'll say every Knuckles scene that had Idris Elba in there worked. The action in there worked. The him as a character on his own works, and these shots that you see in these trailers are great. And then when those scenes happen, great. It just takes a little bit time to get to those scenes so we can get to the meat of it, right? And but yeah, I actually kind of wanted more from it. And ironically, before I passed over to Mike, I think this is probably the definition of like Knuckles got the Transformers treatment. It's like, hey, I want Transformers, I want no humans. I want Knuckles. I didn't want Knuckles and friends. But and if it was Knuckles and friends, I didn't want these ones. I want other ones, you know. But I think because of budget was limiting them. That's really probably why. But anyway.
Yeah, I do want to give a small little shout out because Christopher Lloyd plays one of the echidnas that is basically kind of a mentor to Knuckles that's been giving him advice from the great beyond. And I recognized the voice. I was like, oh, snap. That's my man, Doc. And I'm happy that he's in this. But to kind of go and piggyback off of Mike, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to why he would go and try to make a warrior out of somebody like Wade. I get it from the narrative standpoint because a lot of the basis of what's happening with Wade in this, it surrounds his family. Wade is, yes, he's a deputy, works with the force, but he's also a very good bowler. And he's got like a history with bowling because of his family that's tied to his dad. And at the end of the day, like he's got a sister that really doesn't respect him at all. And he's got a mother that loves him, but she's overcompensating what she doesn't have because there's a lot of strain and tension that's going on within their family. And so Wade is kind of caught in the middle, literally, with trying to figure out how to balance. He got to their house and he was like, nope, we're not going to do it, Knuckles. But Knuckles being Knuckles, he's not scared. He's ready to get bucked. And no matter who it is, no matter how much he's going to try to be respectful, he's always going to meet it at the challenge. And so, of course, Knuckles takes to Wade's mom, and he kind of tolerates the sister. But at the end of the day, Knuckles is always going to try to protect what he considers to be family and friends. And so I think the basis of it is trying to find how Knuckles can relate, as opposed to just being a warrior. How can he be able to have a family? So I think that that's where they were trying to go with the motivation of this story. But unfortunately, that's not. I don't think that's what most people wanted, because the majority of this show, we literally were just with him and Wade. There were times, certain episodes that Knuckles wasn't even in it, and I don't take that as a budgeting thing. I think that was the story they wanted to tell. They wanted us to care about Wade. They wanted us to care about Wade's family, and I think in certain moments, I did care for Wade's mom and his relationship and his sister's relationship. But I think that a lot of the times they treat Wade like Thor. I hate to say that. But they kind of make a joke of Wade. And I think when they start to kind of stirring him up a little bit, then they make fun of somebody else connected to Wade. And I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character in this that's very essential to the arc for Wade, and they just make him not only a jerk, it's just a nonsensical one. It makes absolutely no sense what is actually happening. And you know what? I hate to say this too. Like, there are two people that are previously working with somebody, and Kid Cudi is one of them, and this other character right here is another one. And they have their own endeavor that they want to get vengeance, and they want to, make their mark. And I don't know about you, but they came off really cringy, unfortunately, to me. And I feel like, yes, we need to have Knuckles have a threat, kind of, but I just don't know if these humans and the way that they utilize them worked. I mean, there was only one character, and I'll give you the mic real quick, Mike, that maybe I was like, okay, I want to see what this character could do. But they didn't even really do much on that. But I'll let you continue on, because I don't want to say everything's negative. There are some really dope moments of Knuckles.
Right. And even in terms of video game, like there's one scene, and I won't spoil whatever, but like when they're escaping from something and they do a iconic video game move, I bust out laughing. I was like, that was hilarious. I wasn't expecting that. But then and also Idris Elba's delivery of that was hilarious. It was just like that. But that's where it's like, what I like about with the Sonic franchise is like, hey, this is one of the franchise before video game property stuff was hitting it. before Last of Us and all stuff, Sonic was like, hey, we don't know about a Sonic movie. Knocked it out of the park. Here we are years later, and we're on 3, and we got a spinoff series. So it's like, yeah, and this series does have does work and have magic, but you have to understand the magic also with these characters, and I kept going back to the Transformers element because I don't know if there's literally like episodes like Knuckles not even there, and I was just like, and that's where like really kind of I checked out. But also like with certain characters, it's just that okay, if you want to have balance of someone who's serious to someone who's comedic or whatever, that's one thing. But you can have one person who's serious like Knuckles, even though he can be stupid at some time because of his serious, like a Drax Destroyer type thing, right? But you don't correlate that with everybody around him, but that was just an idiot. That's the thing I felt like they couldn't just pick one person that about balanced him out, which could have just been Wade, and everyone else should be regular or normal, whatever. But instead, no, everyone's an idiot. And it's fortunate because I would say this Wade's sister, the actress who I love her in Righteous Gemstones, played the exact same character as a sister. If you see her in Righteous Gemstones as a sister, she and her interaction with her brothers on that show is exactly the same thing. But it works on that show. But on this show, it's like, hey, okay, now, I think they're just trying to add more comic relief. Also, I will say this one thing, it's not really a spoiler, but like, there's one character I'm saying that involves with something with another aspect of Wade's life, but then even just simply as casting, like age difference, like, I don't know if you notice this too. I'm looking like, is that really how old he is? Like, and then she looks like this. Like, yeah, not to spoil anything, but yeah, but just like I thought it was just me. It's like, what? But yeah, that was the one thing I was just kind of frustrated with because again, there was good action scenes. And then you talk about Kid Cudi, the villains things, like, okay, there's trailers where they do stupid lines like, they're like, I need your power, trying to react that and stuff. Okay, calm, whatever. But then it just gets just two type of mustache twirling villain for no reason. And actually kind of hopefully try to connect, to what we prepared for Sonic 3. Because again, Robotnik, like other sides of Robotnik and his like history, that definitely, no spoilers, the games and everything, that has like a lot of ties to a lot of stuff and everything. So they could have gone in a different direction with this and had opportunity to move forward with that. But no, they just kind of just literally just took the same plot almost from Sonic 3, except they're trying to make an Echidna warrior out of Wade. And then they gave him the Thor Love and Thunder treatment, which is other human characters who also act stupid. And yeah, because like with Sonic 3 is this is also the thing, Jim Carrey, right? As a human character who can be over the top, as Robotnik, that's what it's asking of you. But at the same time, okay, if you're just trying to say, well, we need that Jim Carrey-esque element, but without Jim Carrey, no, then you're just being an idiot, especially when there's no balance of the comedic timing and just almost just kind of just like a joke and parody of itself. And then at the end, literally, like the ending fight, you're just like, wait a minute, the villain was not even present in this season at all. Like, I mean, almost majority of the time, I felt like that was teasing up, which could have been good action scenes, or just shorten the number of episodes, or maybe just turn it into a movie. That have another movie, capitalize theatrically, whatever. And yeah, go ahead with that, and add some maybe other Sonic verse characters that could have combated also with Knuckles in terms of him being serious. You could have had many other characters. I mean, list names and everything, but yeah, that's the thing. I really feel like they just didn't get that right balance enough. But there are good things in this show. Like if you go on YouTube, find a clip of the scene, actually see whatever, you probably enjoy yourself. It's same thing as a Transformers movie. From Michael Bay. Clip it, you watch it, like, oh, that's great. Watch the whole thing, kind of left, imbalanced there. But yeah, that's really the way I can kind of put it though. But again, Idris Elba did no wrong in this show. It's just the fact they didn't know how to really use him. And yeah.
I gotta piggyback off of Mike again. When you have the Hound, right, in a show like this man is still Cock Diesel, and tonally, he stayed the same. Like they just did not. they didn't have him in enough to make sure that there was a counterbalance. I think that there was one character I felt like stayed the same exact tone. They didn't overreach, and that was the mom. I felt like the mom stayed exactly the same at this sweet spot, and I think it worked. Even times where I was like, okay, Wade, I knew Wade was gonna be this bumbling XYZ, but I started like, oh, okay, I see progression in him, and then they just go and revert right back. And I think that there are certain characters in this, like maybe Kid Cudi's character, that could have just been a specific way without spoiling too much. But they just chose to kind of make sure they kept going back and forth with tone and balance with every character. And then some characters were just way too, unfortunately, out there. But as far as the action, and there is, if you pay attention, you guys, around the 6th episode, or one of the last episodes, there is a comment that's made about something in the past, and that leaves a very big foundation as to the next movie. And it's really quick. They gloss over. I wish they would have made more. I think, and I don't know if you agree with this, Mike, if this would have been like a TV movie, it may have done better. It may have been a little more digestible, because with the TV movie, you're going to get boom, 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 action, 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 and then all the foolishness that you can put in there. But it's a one shot, you know what I mean? And there's been a lot of good TV movies recently, but I think that the way that they stretched these out, as many episodes they did, do you think it should have been as long as it was?
Absolutely not. There was, and I gotta be careful with the subject matter. There's definitely one episode that focused on a specific culture, and stuff. And not saying that it doesn't, you can't have that. I just feel it kind of just stops the story a little bit. And kind of like, well, that scene could have been good. Do I need a whole several episodes surrounding that? I don't know. And it's not saying that again, the subject matter is bad. It's just like literally you have a whole scene and Knuckles just there, and there's nothing that deals with actual Knuckles. He's just witnessing, this side of Wade's life and everything. But I think that could have been just explained just for like almost like a good 10 minutes, whatever, and delve in that and just like and added more emotional weight of Wade's family structure and their relationships,
Right.
but also give more impact. And instead of just when the ridiculousness happened, it's not like it's left like it's just stupid. Like
Right.
that's the thing, because there's good subject matter here that are just relatable. Like you understand like why are people continually, if they keep failing and failing and failing, why they keep getting up and trying to succeed when everyone's failing on them, whatever, because they're trying to get that validation from that they didn't get in their childhood or something, right? And
Right.
that's I felt they had that seed there, but just they didn't nurture in the right way to be cultivated, and
Yeah.
prosper in the right, and I feel in the best effective way. But yeah, I just feel like that. And I probably think the thing that could hurt it was just the time. TV movie probably could have done it. More action scenes that kind of help with the pacing.
Yeah.
I think we really will be having these issues, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I know the scene you're talking about. It's the dinner table. And it's crazy because that leads to one of the better action moments. And I think that, like you said, there's something that happens within that interaction where literally Wade gets stabbed. And it's just the stupidest. I think at that moment I realized I don't know if they're trying to have this series cater to kids, or if they're having to have this cater to everyone. Because in that moment, I felt like they were trying to cater only to kids. Like, this is something that was just so cringy. It just made no sense. There's so many ways they could have wrote that and added still a comedic element by maybe using Knuckles in the mix of it. Like, Knuckles, like, I don't know how to sit in these seats. He just smashes everything. And he's like, can y'all bring me another table out here?
Or
Like
provide the discipline that maybe they lacked from a father figure or something, like just in the way. Yeah, but again, it's like really with Wade's sister, she is literally the same character from Righteous Gemstones. Like that stabbing would actually worked on that show. Like it actually would be like, oh yeah, she would do that.
yeah.
But
I don't know. It just didn't, unfortunately, land on that mark. And it's weird. There's this
oh,
episode right here.
man.
I am a musical fan. I really am. And there are things in this, if you are a video game fan, you're gonna love how they piece some of this stuff together. It's really engaging. But where I feel like there's a missed opportunity here is that they would have freaking just transitioned to show it. There's a moment that it could have been one of the dopest action callbacks. And I think that this is the crazy thing. The whole show, and I said this to Mike, and maybe they can still do it. If they would have made a prequel series about Knuckles and who he was, what he had to get to the moment that we see him with Sonic, I don't care. You can have like certain key characters that are funny, that are kids, and still made it work. And it would have been so epic. Because I was sitting there watching this and I was like, wow, I love this story, but I'm not gonna see it. And so I think that was a missed opportunity. I think that they did a great job, and I think that the actor that played the role of Wade, Adam, did a good job with his delivery with it. It just, in the context of how it even worked, it didn't make sense. Like how we got here didn't make sense. But I digress because I know we're running over long. What are our final thoughts and A to F rating on this series? Mike, I'll let you go first and I'll follow up.
So everything with Knuckles, I give it a B plus. And to that scene that you're talking about, that'd been great to start off the series with. Like, you know, just to get just origin of that character and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the Wade side of stories and everything, even though there were good parts in it, the fact that also the other characters connected to that storyline felt just became across just very one note comedic, not really anything type of serving the role other than just being there. But yeah, I'll give the overall show a C. Like I do find it entertaining moments and stuff to watch. But I think in a shorter time this would have been a great about a film to put on Paramount Plus and stuff. But yeah, I'll give probably a C plus or so. Yeah, I just wanted more, but there were good stuff in it. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, I there was like, it's weird, and Mike said it, like all the moments with Knuckles when Knuckles is there, it's great. Like even when he's working with the humans, like it's hilarious and it's engaging and it's action packed. I was all the way there for Knuckles, but the family outside of the mom and outside of certain moments with Wade, I just could not get into it, unfortunately. So this for me is either a C minus or a D plus. I do think if they go back and make like a prequel series on this with just Knuckles, I think that that's going to land a lot differently. I'm still excited for Sonic 3. Absolutely. I know we're going to be getting a trailer with that really soon. Maybe me and Mike can do a reaction and talk about that. We also were at CinemaCon and saw some interesting footage there. And I'm very excited. And I think that excitement made me want to watch this, thinking maybe I'm going to get something that's going to motivate and push this along. But unfortunately, that's not what the basis of this show was. But we, again, are basing on what we thought. And we want you guys to let us know in the comment section below. If you already seen Knuckles, let us know what you think. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. But Mike, where can everybody find your content?
Hey, you can find me on YouTube at JediMike7, also on Instagram JediMike7 as well. Make sure your notification bell on your way out. Leave a like and comment down below.
Thank you so much, Mike. We are about to roll until we come back again like a Flash or a Sonic Flash. We're going to go. Peace, guys. Falling off the top of